This is an emergency message. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office and the New York State Police are searching the area of Peekskill Hollow Road in Putnam Valley for a suspect believed to be armed and dangerous. Putnam Valley Schools, Putnam Valley Town Hall and the Putnam Valley Senior Center are closed due to police activity in the area. The suspect is 5 feet 11 inches, 170 pounds, last seen wearing black sweatpants and a gray sweatshirt. If observed, please call 911 immediately.
Imagine hearing that. That was the message that was heard by thousands of people who live in Putnam County, New York last week, warning them about a 40-year-old named Fernando Jimenez. He was charged with the murder of a 15-year-old boy and with injuring that boy's mother and brother, also a teenager, an illegal migrant from Chile who was deported and had multiple brushes with the law before, but was never put behind bars and certainly not ejected from the country, thanks to soft on crime policies. Joining us now is Putnam County Executive Kevin Byrne. Thanks for being with us. This is a really disturbing case.
Thank you for having me, Katie. It's
yeah, so
tragic.
this guy shot his girlfriend and both of his girlfriend's teenage sons, 14 and 16 years old. Illegal migrant. He's been arrested multiple times. I understand that I looked this up. He got a DUI in Yonkers back in 2018. He was an illegal immigrant at that time, paid a $500 fine and was released. No details on why he wouldn't have been handed over to federal authorities at that point. We know that that's not his only brush with the law, but he found his way, back to committing more crimes, and certainly now we have a dead teenager on our hands because of it. Tell me more about this investigation and the pursuit of this guy who ended up in your county.
Certainly. Well, I know the state police has really been leading the charge here on the law enforcement entity of this. The actual incident, the homicide, occurred just about 5 minutes away from my house over the county line in northern Westchester in the town of Somers, a community that I had represented for 6 years when I was in the state legislature. We obviously are all feeling for the entire community for the loss of life. We had a vigil within the community yesterday evening. Once after the incident was called in Monday late evening, there was a pursuit and essentially a manhunt was supported by our Putnam County Sheriff's Office, and they identified and apprehended the suspect in the town of Putnam Valley and Putnam County. That reverse 911 call that you heard, that went out around 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday morning to families all over the entire area. We had to shut down the Putnam County Senior Center. Schools were on delay and then ultimately shut down. A lot of us had to make difficult decisions like, are we taking our child to daycare or not? Fortunately, our brave men and women apprehended the suspect, brave men and women of law enforcement. There was a courageous resident, 20-year veteran of the NYPD, who actually owns a real estate business, who actually was essential in identifying this man, and we're very fortunate that they apprehended the individual before more bloodshed occurred.
I'm glad you mentioned Somers. Westchester passed the Immigration Protection Act back in 2018. Now, its proponents say this doesn't have any bearing on crime, but it essentially means, if I understand it correctly, that police don't pursue people solely for being in the country illegally. Is that problematic for you? And tell me why.
It's very problematic. Now, I remember this. I heard Rob Astorino on the program just earlier. He was the Westchester County executive. He vetoed the quote-unquote Immigration Protection Act when he was the county executive. And in the first 3 months into the new administration, after he left office, they passed it. And it is essentially a sanctuary policy that limits the ability to share information with federal immigration law enforcement officials. And the timing is very suspicious. We need to look at this closely as the investigation continues, because from what we've seen in the report from the spokesperson at ICE that was reported, this individual was arrested for a DWI in September of 2018, paid a $500 fine. That legislation in Westchester County that you cited, it passed in March 20th of 2018, a few months before that DWI charge in Westchester County in the city of Yonkers. And there's potential reports of other criminal past as well. It's one of the reasons why in Putnam County we're definitively not a sanctuary county. And last year we passed a resolution to become a rule of law county.
It's my understanding that there's an ICE hold now on this guy. Is that accurate?
That's the information that we've been shared as well. He's being detained in the Westchester County Correctional Facility.
And we also know that New York State is a sanctuary state and New York is a sanctuary city. What is your message, I guess, to the mayor and to the governor about sanctuary policies and their consequences? We know the majority of people who come to this country are not criminals. They're not here to hurt anybody. But when people like this remain in our country and we have them in custody, why isn't one hand talking to the other to keep people safe?
Sanctuary policies, quite frankly, they're stupid. Anything that prevents law enforcement from sharing information with other partners in law enforcement, including federal law enforcement such as ICE, you're limiting our ability to keep our communities safe. This is just another example. Obviously, it's a time of mourning for the community and healing, but there's questions as to why was this individual even here? Why is this person who clearly is a monster, why was this person here? We don't want to categorize all immigrations as something like this, which is clearly an exception. But the reality is this individual had a criminal past. They should have been able to share that with immigration officials. The individual should have been deported. We had information from ICE that the individual was voluntarily deported back to Mexico back in 2004. Now we have an issue back in 2018. Why didn't that happen again? Sanctuary policies are dangerous, and they're only there to shield those who are actually actively breaking the law. And we need to prioritize those law-abiding citizens, those lawful immigrants with permanent green card status. We need to prioritize those law-abiding citizens before criminals.
All right, wish we had more time. Putnam County Executive Kevin Byrne, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.